On May 22, 1993, a man named Kurt Simon was standing in the driveway of a quiet residential street in Bloomington, Illinois, unloading boxes from the trunk of his car.
The night was warm, still, and silent, the kind of night where sound carries farther than usual.
Just minutes earlier, Kurt and his fiancée, Chem Winganger, had arrived after a long drive. They were exhausted but happy.
This was the house where they would start their new life together. Kurt picked up the first box, balanced it against his chest, and climbed the front steps of the two-story home.
He unlocked the door, stepped inside, and set the box down in the foyer. Alongside it, he placed a small but meaningful gift they had received the night before, a money tray. A little yellow coffee can with envelopes of cash hanging from it.
Then Kurt turned around and headed back toward the car.
As he walked down the steps, Chem was just beginning her own trip inside. They passed each other on the staircase, smiled, and exchanged a few quiet words. Nothing important, nothing memorable.
Just an ordinary moment between two people who believed they had their entire lives ahead of them. Seconds later, Kurt reached the trunk of the car. That's when he felt it.
A violent pressure wave slammed into his back, like the air itself had turned solid.
He was nearly lifted off his feet. At the same time, an explosive boom tore through the night, echoing down the street. Kurt spun around. Black smoke was pouring out of the front door of the house. Chem was still inside. But before we get into what happened next, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious, delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place. We upload 6, even 7 times a week, so if that's of interest to you, please sneak into the like button's house and replace their toothpaste with numbing cream.
And please subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Alright, let's get into today's story.
The night before the explosion, Chem Winganger stood in the basement of the Golden Congregational Church in rural Iowa, clapping her hands together in excitement.
Around her were friends from the congregation, gathered to celebrate both her upcoming wedding and her move out of town.
Chem was 29 years old.
Kurt was 32.
They had met just 8 months earlier on a blind date, but almost immediately, Chem felt she had found someone special. Their relationship hadn't been easy.
Kurt was living in Iowa, finishing seminary school and training to become a Presbyterian minister. Chem lived 230 miles south in Bloomington, Illinois, raising 2 young children on her own. Money was always tight.
Chem had recently quit her office job after a co-worker repeatedly sexually harassed her. She picked up of the books work as a hairdresser and house cleaner, but still relied on public assistance to survive.
Kurt didn't have much either. He was a student with limited income. On top of that, Chem had difficult relationships with both fathers of her children. Her 1-year-old son's father, Dale Forsdick, was constantly late with child support and routinely let himself into Chem's house without permission. Kurt had recently confronted Dale about this, warning him to stop showing up unannounced. Dale didn't take that well. Chem's ex-husband, Todd Winganger, the father of her 7-year-old daughter, was equally contentious. Custody disputes, financial arguments, and constant tension defined their interactions. To make matters worse, Todd and Dale were friends. Still, that night in the church basement, all of that felt far away. Chem and Kurt were presented with a money tree, a small symbol of hope.
The congregation wasn't wealthy, but they had pooled what little they had to help the couple start their life together.
Chem smiled, hugged everyone, and tried not to think about the one person missing from the room, her mother, Wilma Cricket Lewis. Chem and Cricket were estranged.
Cricket despised Kurt and blamed him for destroying her relationship with her daughter. The next morning, Chem and Kurt packed the car and began the long drive south. They arrived in Bloomington at 10:30 p.m.
After the explosion, Kurt ran toward the house, yelling Chem's name.
Smoke filled the foyer. Glass crunched beneath his feet.
Metal fragments littered the floor.
He searched desperately.
Then he saw her.
Chem lay motionless on the foyer floor.
Half of her head was gone. She was already dead. Police arrived within minutes.
Detective Larry Shepard, a homicide investigator, immediately recognized that this was not a firearm incident. This was a bomb.
The damage was extensive. Shrapnel had blasted through the walls and floor. Smoke alarms wailed inside the house.
Neighbors stood outside in shock. Inside the basement, investigators found wires, gunpowder, and fuses, clear signs that the explosive device had been constructed inside the home. At first, suspicion fell squarely on Kurt.
He was the first person inside.
He survived.
Chem did not.
Neighbors reported seeing Kurt enter the house alone and exit moments before the blast. Some claimed they saw him return to the trunk of his car, possibly placing something inside.
Kurt denied all of it. He denied knowing about the bomb materials. He denied placing anything in the trunk. He denied seeing anything unusual in the foyer.
He refused a polygraph test, but there was a problem.
Kurt had no motive.
He and Chem were deeply in love.
He had been in Iowa all week. His car contained no evidence of explosives.
Everyone interviewed described their relationship
as hopeful and joyful. The investigation widened. Detectives interviewed Chem's exes. Todd Winganger admitted to frequent arguments, but had multiple witnesses placing him elsewhere. Dale Forstick admitted tension, but had neighbors who claimed he was home doing yard work that day.
A former co-worker who had harassed Chem was hundreds of miles away. Chem's mother Cricket showed no grief, only rage over a life insurance policy, but appeared too unstable to construct a bomb.
Then the ATF delivered a crucial finding.
The bomb was motion activated.
Chem hadn't been targeted at the door. She had triggered it herself by picking up an unfamiliar object in the foyer.
This meant the bomb could have been planted days earlier.
Someone comfortable in the house. Someone familiar to the neighbors. Someone confident they wouldn't be questioned. That's when police re-canvassed the neighborhood.
And that's when a young girl spoke up.
She told detectives she had seen a man leaving Chem's house earlier that day. He smiled.
He waved at her.
She knew who he was. It was Dale Forstick. Dale had stolen a spare key months earlier.
He regularly entered Chem's home without permission. He had technical experience building model airplane skills that translated easily into bomb construction.
He was furious that Chem had moved on. Even more furious after hearing Kurt plan to adopt his son. Dale built the bomb, finished it in Chem's basement,
placed it in the foyer.
Then he left.
Chem never had a chance.
Months of forensic testing confirmed it. Dale Forstick was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 61 years in prison.
He served just 14. In 2010, Dale Forstick died behind bars. Chem Winganger never got the life she was planning. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of today's episode in the comments. And if you're ready for more true crime, we've got an entire playlist waiting for you.
Until next time, see you.